3 miles off the coast of the Levant, a heavily fortified island of solid rock rises straight out of the crashing azure waves. It is 850 BC. You are standing on the massive sea walls of Tyre. The wind blowing off the water does not smell like fresh ocean spray. It smells heavily of boiling ash and decaying shellfish. To an outsider, the scent would be suffocating. To you, a master navigator and merchant of the Canaanite coast, it is the intoxicating aroma of absolute global dominance. We call your people the Phoenicians, a term later invented by the Greeks, meaning the purple people. But you do not use that word. You call yourself a Tyrian, a proud son of Canaan. Your people do not build sprawling, landlocked empires like the Assyrians or the Egyptians. You do not march massive, dust-choked armies across the desert. Instead, you have mastered the one thing everyone else in the ancient world is terrified of: the open, unpredictable ocean. Through the digital resurrection of submerged shipwrecks, excavated trading posts across the Mediterranean, and the surviving records of the nations you traded with, we have meticulously reconstructed the lost maritime empire of the Levant. We are going to strip away the myths of antiquity and plunge into the real salt-stained world of the ancient seafarers. Imagine navigating by the stars across a completely unmapped sea, holding the secret to the most expensive color on Earth, and carrying a revolutionary technology in your leather pouch that will fundamentally alter human communication forever. This is the world of the ancient mariners. The morning begins in the industrial district of the island. You walk through a labyrinth of stone workshops overlooking the water. The wealth of Tyre is built on a tiny, incredibly unassuming creature, the Murex sea snail. You watch as hundreds of workers haul massive, dripping nets filled with these spiky shells out of the shallows. The process of extracting the dye is tedious, incredibly pungent, and a closely guarded state secret. The workers crack the shells one by one, extracting a tiny, microscopic gland from the snail. It takes tens of thousands of these snails to produce just a single ounce of dye. The glands are left to bake in the relentless Levantine sun, then boiled in massive lead vats for days. As you look into the bubbling vats, the liquid slowly shifts from a pale yellow to a vibrant green, and finally to a deep, mesmerizing, bruised crimson purple, Tyrian purple. It is a color that does not fade in the sun. In fact, it only becomes brighter and more vibrant as it ages. It is the most expensive commodity on the face of the planet. It is worth more than 10 times its weight in solid gold. The pharaohs of Egypt, the tribal chieftains of Greece, and the kings of Mesopotamia will empty their treasuries just to have a single robe dyed in your vats. You do not conquer them with swords. You conquer their economies with luxury. You leave the dye vats and walk down to the bustling, sheltered harbours. Tyre has 2 massive artificial ports, the Sidonian harbour to the north and the Egyptian harbour to the south, allowing your fleets to dock, no matter which way the wind is blowing. The docks are a symphony of sophisticated ancient engineering. You are overseeing the loading of your gaulos, the heavy, round-hulled cargo ships that are the workhorses of the Mediterranean. The hull is constructed from the legendary cedars of Lebanon, massive, straight-grained timber brought down from the mountains. The wood is naturally resistant to rot and insects, making your ships incredibly durable. At the prow of your ship is a beautifully carved wooden horse's head, the signature emblem of the Tyrian merchant fleet, designed to honor the gods of the sea. Your cargo hold is a magnificent floating treasury of international influences. You are loading raw ingots of copper from the island of Cyprus. You are packing delicate, brilliantly clear glass vessels, another technology your people have perfected by melting the fine silica sands of the Levantine coast with local ash. There are intricately carved ivory plaques, influenced by Egyptian artistic styles, but crafted with unique Canaanite flair, destined to decorate the wooden thrones of foreign kings. You are creating a truly globalized economy, blending the art and resources of 3 different continents into the hull of a single ship. As the sun begins its descent, the thick, heavy linen sails are hoisted. You do not wait for the morning light to sail. While Greek and Egyptian sailors are absolutely terrified of losing sight of the coastline, hugging the shores and dropping anchor every single night, you steer your ship directly into the deep, dark expanse of the open Mediterranean. As the sky turns pitch black, you stand on the aft deck, gripping the heavy wooden steering oar. You look up at the sky. You possess a closely guarded navigational secret that gives you absolute mastery over the night. You do not use the shifting, unreliable constellations to find your way. You look for a specific faint cluster of stars near the northern celestial pole, Ursa Minor. The Greeks will eventually call this constellation the Phoenician star, because they realize that your captains use it to sail flawlessly in the dark. It is a profound, incredibly sophisticated application of astronomy to maritime logistics. You are reading the heavens to draw invisible highways across the water. Days turn into weeks as your ship cuts westward across the sea. You bypass the rocky, dangerous coasts of southern Greece and sail toward the distant, wealthy frontiers of the western Mediterranean. You drop anchor in a bustling, newly established harbour on the coast of North Africa. This is Carthage, which translates simply to the new city. History will remember it as Carthage. It is a colony founded by your people, a strategic resupply station that is rapidly growing into an economic powerhouse of its own. The harbour of Carthage is a marvel of maritime infrastructure. You dock alongside other Tyrian ships, exchanging news from the homeland with merchants who have permanently settled on the African coast. You trade your glass and purple textiles for massive quantities of raw silver brought over from the Iberian Peninsula. You secure pure, heavy bars of tin, a crucial component for making bronze, which has been shipped all the way from the foggy, mythical islands of the far north, the lands we now know as Britain. The sheer scale of this logistical network is staggering. You are a crucial link in a supply chain that spans thousands of miles of open, unpredictable ocean. You disembark and walk into the local trading post to conduct business with a group of Greek merchants who have sailed down from the Aegean. This is where the true brilliance of your civilization reveals itself. You sit at a wooden table in a shaded courtyard. The Greek merchant is attempting to negotiate the purchase of 50 cedar logs and 10 jars of Tyrian dye. To record the transaction, he brings out a heavy, cumbersome clay tablet, preparing to use the incredibly complex, thousands of symbols deep cuneiform script of the Mesopotamians, or perhaps the rigid, artistic hieroglyphs of Egypt. You shake your head, you pull a smooth, lightweight sheet of imported Egyptian papyrus from your leather satchel, you dip a fine reed pen into a small pot of ink, and you begin to write. But you do not draw pictures of birds or complex wedges. You draw simple, abstract, elegant lines. You are using an alphabet. You have 22 distinct symbols, and each symbol represents a single specific sound of your language. There are no vowels yet, only consonants. You write from right to left, quickly and efficiently. The Greek merchant watches you in absolute fascination. With just 22 simple shapes, you can construct every single word, every name, and every financial concept in existence. It is a system so incredibly intuitive, so utterly logical, that a person can learn to read and write in a matter of weeks, rather than studying for decades in a specialized elite scribal school. You are a pragmatic merchant. You invented this system because you do not have the time to memorize 1,000 clay symbols when you are managing inventory across 6 different countries. You need speed, efficiency, and clarity. You point to the first letter of your alphabet, a shape derived from the word for an ox. You pronounce it Aleph. You point to the second letter, the shape of a house. You pronounce it Bet. The Greek merchant traces the shapes on the table, repeating the sounds. He realizes the staggering power of this technology. He will take these exact shapes back to the Aegean Sea. His people will add vowels to them, transforming Aleph into Alpha and Bet into Beta. You are sitting in a dusty courtyard, negotiating the price of wood and snail dye, entirely unaware that you have just handed the Greeks the exact letters they will eventually use to write down the Iliad, the Odyssey, and the foundations of Western philosophy. As the afternoon sun warms the stone walls of the trading post, you finalize the contract. The silver is weighed, the papyrus is sealed, and the goods are transferred. You share a cup of sweet dark wine with the Greek merchant, honoring the agreement. The exchange is peaceful, built entirely on the mutual, undeniable benefit of commerce. You return to your ship as the evening tide begins to pull. The crew is resting on the wooden decks, repairing canvas sails and checking the heavy ropes. You stand at the prow, looking out past the safe, sheltered harbour of Carthage. You look further west, toward the Straits of Gibraltar, the Pillars of Hercules. For the rest of the ancient world, those pillars represent the absolute edge of reality, the boundary where the known world drops off into terrifying mythological oblivion. But for a master navigator of Tyre, they are simply a doorway. You know that beyond those straits lie the vast, uncharted, rolling swells of the Atlantic Ocean and the unimaginably wealthy, untapped coasts of Africa and Europe. The ancient world is vast, fragmented, and separated by massive geographical barriers. Other civilizations seek to conquer it by sending armies over the mountains, erecting massive stone borders, and carving their kings' names into the cliffs. But you understand a more profound truth. The world is not conquered by staying on the land. Your people never built a massive, singular land empire. You never erected towering stone pyramids or sprawling colosseums that would eventually crumble into the sand. Your monuments are entirely invisible. They are the shipping lanes drawn across the Mediterranean. They are the currents of the wind you learned to harness. And above all, they are the simple, elegant letters of the alphabet that sit quietly in the leather pouch at your side. You hoist the heavy sails, catching the cool evening breeze. You steer the wooden prow toward the setting sun, leaving the safety of the shore behind, and sail back into the endless, brilliant blue of the open sea. We often measure the greatness of antiquity by the weight of the stones they left behind. But the most profound transformations in human history were not built in marble. They were carried in the holds of wooden ships, negotiated in crowded coastal markets, and written on fragile sheets of papyrus. The master navigators of the Levant taught the world how to shrink the oceans and how to trap the spoken word on a page, building a legacy that outlasted every empire of the ancient world. This video is brought to you by the Paladin Learn History app. Scan the QR code to learn more history.